Hey everyone, this is Jaden, and I just received this MacBook Pro 2010 for $36 on eBay. Now really, this came out to around $58 because there was $20 shipping plus a couple dollars worth of tax money. Now, I actually bid on this item during class, but I had nothing else to do and I was kind of bored and I kind of wanted to try out a MacBook Pro, and I've actually never touched one or have actually been near a MacBook Pro, which is kind of funny, stating that I have all these technology videos. Anyways, I'm actually really excited, and let's go ahead and open this thing and actually see if it's pretty good. Alright, so getting into the box, we have some private information here. Let's try not to slice open our brand new table we got from Lowe's, because that would really suck. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and try and get this horrible packaging open. I've never been a fan of USPS boxes because they're always a pain to open. Oh. And of course, they use that disgusting styrofoam, and they didn't even use any sort of protection on the MacBook whatsoever. As you can see, it's just on a box with styrofoam right on top of it. How secure, right? So here is whatever that is. And this stuff is disgusting. It's getting all into the ports. This is already not looking good. Oh my goodness, okay. And here it is. Oh my goodness, okay. Now this computer did not come with any sort of charging cable. However, the person who packaged this did an absolute horrible job. As you can see, there's all of this disgusting styrofoam all over here. And there's a slight dent right here, which they didn't specify in the description. But that's eBay for you. And there is a few scuffs, but for $36, it's actually pretty good. Now with the flashlight on, you can actually see how dirty these ports are. You can see that the Ethernet port is absolutely covered in cobwebs, which is absolutely disgusting. So let's go ahead and turn this on. Now I have no idea if this computer even has any charge to it. So let's go ahead and just brush all of this stupid styrofoam off. Styrofoam is actually my weakness and I really hate it. So make sure everything is off. Now looking at the bottom actually, MacBook Pro 13-inch, mid-2010, is a 2.66 GHz Core 2 Duo with 4 GB of RAM, no AC power cord, and 320 hard drive space. And whatever this is. So let's go ahead and push all this stuff off. The bottom is in actually fair condition actually, so there's not much that's needed, just a little bit of a clean. Now that I have styrofoam all over me, we can go ahead and open this up. So for the moment of truth, and here is the beauty. It is actually looking very fabulous, and of course it's not in the camera. Now it is in the camera, so let's go ahead and try and turn it on. So with our giant 85-watt power charger, we can just plug it in like so, and it should start turning on. There we go. Now let's go ahead and turn it on with the power button. And there we go. The screen is not cracked at all, and it's actually fairly nice. Now the one thing that annoys me about eBay sellers is that they never reset their computers. So now I have to go through the whole process of resetting this, which shouldn't be too hard as this computer does run macOS High Sierra. But before installing an operating system, let's go ahead and look this over and just see if this is actually in good condition. As you can see, the keyboard lights up, and it is actually fairly dirty around, which is disgusting. There's just a little bit of dust on here, which is alright. The back has a lot of fingerprints and a lot of dust marks. And of course, there's the disgusting styrofoam all over the place. And of course, the inside of the ports are really gross. So let's go ahead and power this Mac off. And now we can go ahead and install the operating system. And just like that, we can plug in our USB stick and go ahead and turn it on. We'll then hold down the Option key. And then we get our list of disks. We'll go ahead and click our High Sierra disk, since that's what I'm installing on this laptop.
few moments later.
And we can go ahead and just remove the disk. Now, Apple doesn't really have much security unless this computer would be iCloud locked, but obviously it's not because we can do simple tasks like this. So we can go ahead and just go to our internal hard drive disk, and it is only using 46 gigabytes, so we can just go ahead and erase that because we do not want to have any interaction with the other people's information, because I'm going to be selling this and that would be horrible to get caught in some sort of legal matter. Now, as you can see, it's just erasing, and now it's mounting the disk, and now we're fully done. The computer is now erased, and we can go ahead and install macOS High Sierra. Now we can go ahead and install macOS High Sierra by just clicking the agree and agreeing to the terms and conditions, and then once we do that, we'll just select our disk, and there we go. Now once this is all installing, we can go ahead and remove our USB. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and get into the MacBook. So flipping it over, you can see all of the 8 screws that we have to take out, plus these 2 extra ones on the side. So let's go ahead and get into these. Now, as you can see, this MacBook is absolutely crawling in dust, which may be linked to why it runs a little bit slow and gets really hot. We have our original Apple hard drive and our still fully functional battery. Now let's start by getting into the computer. So, by just pulling on these 2 tabs, we can lift up the RAM. Now, we'll just pop out the RAM. This is our DDR3 RAM, and then we can just pop them out, just like so. And they just slide right out, and our RAM is... So now we can go ahead and just undo the hard drive. So there's this little bracket here that has 2 screws, and we're just gonna go ahead and unscrew those screws. And once that's done, we should just be able to pop it right out, and then the hard drive comes straight out, and then we can just unplug the hard drive. Now that we have our battery out, we can go ahead and look at some things. The battery compartment and the hard drive space is actually fairly clean, but most of the dust is probably under the logic board. Now the fan is very dirty, so we're just gonna go ahead and get it out of here. And the fan comes right out of the compartment. As you can see, the whole fan compartment, including the filter, is really disgusting. So just because of how much this stuff is going to take to get out, I'm probably not going to be removing the logic board, even though there's probably a lot of dust under there, but I'm going to do the best cleaning I can possibly do. Now, as you can see, the fan actually is fairly good with the dust. However, it definitely could use a clean, as it would probably feel much better. So, with a little bit of compressed air, we can just get in here and really clean it up. Now the fan is looking much better. There's still a little bit of dust. And there we go. It is actually much better than how it was before. And there we go. Nice clean fan. Now cleaning where the fan sits. We can clean it out with just a little bit of compressed air. And get into the ports, which are absolutely gross. Now we can go ahead and just place the fan back in how it was. All right, now we can just go ahead and start putting back in our fan screws. We can now put our RAM back in. So first RAM goes in. We'll just move these to the side just a bit. And then once the RAM is in, we can then go ahead and push it down. And then we'll do the exact same for the other piece of RAM. Now these RAMs are just 4 gigabytes each, sorry. And actually just making sure of that because I'm not the smartest human being. They're actually 2 gigabytes of RAM per stick. I thought there was 8 gigabytes in this computer, but sadly not. Even though it's a Pro, which they should all have 8 gigabytes, this one sadly doesn't, which I'm okay with. And for some reason, I can't get this into the slot. And there we go. Now for our MacBook Pro battery. All we gotta do is just stick it right in here, and it should just plop down where it's supposed to go. And before we plug it in, we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna put our screws in. So the long one goes right over here, if my camera will focus. And then we just tie it down. Now for the next screw, which is hiding right here, and a piece of this actually broke off, which really sucks, and I'm kind of worried that it's gonna come undone and the battery is gonna do something weird because the battery isn't fully on and I just lost my screw. So the battery screw is supposed to go in right here, but it doesn't want to cooperate correctly, as the shell on the battery is broken. So we're gonna find another spot for it. And I'm actually thinking right over here, this would actually be a pretty decent spot. All right, and I was actually able to get the screw back into the correct place. Not cool if it'll hold correctly, but hey, now we'll push down on this adhesive right here, and there we go. So this part of the video is actually showing me putting in the original hard drive, but I actually went ahead and switched it out to this Kingston SSD with 240 gigabytes of space. It's actually fairly cheap, but I actually wanted to install macOS Monterey on this computer, and this was the only way it would make the computer run much faster. Now the inside of this case isn't all spectacular either, so we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna get our cloth, aka our paper towel, and we'll just fold it up like so. And then we'll just take a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and then dump it on. And now from here, we can just go ahead and give the inside a quick little clean, like so, and it'll remove all of the gross dust and all of that stuff. And you can actually now see our dots, which show where our ports sit on the computer. And that looks so much better. Now we have to clean our speaker grills with just a little bit of outwelding alcohol and a toothbrush. We can just go ahead and we can just scrub right through. So much better. And this is just from inside the case, which is really gross. Alright, so now let's go ahead and just clean the back of this. So we'll go ahead and get our paper towel like so. Just pour some of our alcohol on there. And let's get scrubbing. Now there's some sticker residue left over from the random tape that was on the back showing all the information so people on eBay would know that it's not a scam. Now we can go ahead and we can just set that plate back on, and now we can put in our screws. So now we can go ahead and clean the back. As you can see, it's really dirty and really disgusting. And this video is actually in fast motion just because it took a really long time just to get all the dirt off. But as you can see, over the span of 12 years, dirt really builds up. So here's the keyboard. And as you can see, it is absolutely disgusting. There is lint and all sorts of stuff coming out of the computer, which we need to get rid of in order to sell it. Now we'll go over here with an air compressor. Now with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, we can go ahead and go over the aluminum and the plastic keys. Now this rubbing alcohol really makes it look brand new again. As you can see, it really makes these colors pop and really makes it super clean. I actually got a lot of dust off these keyboards. As you saw in the first part, there was a lot of lint all over it, but the keys and the whole entire board look a lot better. And now just a little cotton swab, we can go ahead and get in between the keys onto the aluminum and really get all that extra dirt out. Also, getting into places such as these little things are also really good to do. As you can see, they just build up lots of dirt and get kind of gross. So we'll just go in there with a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol. And we have the same problem, but actually much worse. So we'll again take our rubbing alcohol and we can just slide it against in here and it should get most of our stuff out. And just like that. Alright everybody, and there we have it. A 2010 MacBook Pro with an Intel Core 2 Duo with 4GB of RAM and a 250GB SSD, running macOS Monterey. The battery still holds a charge, and this unit is perfect for resale value since the inside is fully clean. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.